So that little riff that I wrote uses nothing but chords because we're looking at chords in black metal today. So the opening part of that riff uses power chords. So power chords are simply a root and a fifth. You can play another root on top, which is what I did because I used a 3-note power chord. You can move that shape anywhere on the fretboard. If you're playing a 3-note power chord with the root on the A string, you would use exactly the same pattern, so it'd be 3, 5, 5. And again, it's a movable shape. If you have the root on the D string, you would play 3, 5 and 6. And if you had the root on the G string, you would play 3, 6 and 6. So for the G, okay, and that is, as I say, movable. You can play that anywhere on the fretboard. So that's the first part of that riff, was just a power chord. Underneath that we had, which is a G minor chord. So there we have just a basic minor chord. I was only playing the top 4 strings of that chord, but it would work equally as well using the bottom string as well. Okay, so that's the first part of the riff. So power chords and minor chord. Then I came up here and I was playing this, which is a C minor chord. So it's another minor, but it's an inversion. So we have it here, we have the 5, and then the 1, and then the flat 3. So there we have 10 of the A string, 10 of the D, 8 of the G, and that's the root there, the C. And then I came down here and played the same thing. So that was 3 of the bottom string, 3 of the A, 1 of the D. Okay, then I went into another power chord, which was up here on the 6th fret of the bottom string, and then I went into a diminished chord, which is 5 of the A, 6 of the, no, 5 of the E, 6 of the A, 7 of the D. It's not technically a diminished chord, it's more of a diminished interval with another root on top. But that's another one that works. Then I came into here. So there we have a 9. So we've got the D there over the G, which is the root. So there we have a 9 down to a regular power chord. Then we have a sharp 9, which is this E flat here. Also a minor third. And then back to a 9. So let's look at what we did so far. So power chord over a minor chord. Then we had an inversion of a minor chord. The same inversion but an octave lower. A regular power chord. A diminished interval. Then we had a 9 down to a power chord. Then we have the 1 here, the 3. Sorry, no, we don't. We have the 1, the 5, and the either the sharp 9 or also the minor third. back down to a 9. Then we had this interval here, which is actually just a major chord, and it's a major triad. So we have 6 of the A, 5 of the D, 3 of the G. So that's just a major triad. Then I come down to a minor triad, 5 of the A, 3 of the D, 2 of the G. Back up to the minor triad. So I back up to the major triad. Back down to the minor triad. And then the F to the A is just a major third. Now a lot of people say you shouldn't put majors in black metal, but I disagree, and the reason is if it's all minor then it's just all darkness. You need a little bit of light and darkness, otherwise it just sounds quite monotonous. You need to change it up. So that was the first half. So again, power chord over a minor, inverted minor again, power chord, diminished, ninth down to a power chord, sharp 9 or minor third down to a 9, major triad, minor triad, major triad, minor triad, major third. Now you can put in the 5 as well, the 5 as well, if you wanted that C in there. Then back into the same thing. Same again, so we have the inverted minor chord down to the same thing but an octave below. Power chord, diminished, ninth down to a power chord, sharp 9 or minor third down to a 9. This time I play something different, so I play a major chord here, then I'm going to play, so here we have again a diminished 5th, and then up to a regular 5th. Minor chord, so this is just a D minor. Back into the major chord, diminished 5th, regular 5th. Minor chord again. And then the major, either the major third or just the major triad. So let's look at these individually. So power chords, I'd assume that most people know what a power chord is. Then we have a minor chord, so a regular minor chord here, which is just a bar chord. You could play a G minor here. Okay, so minor chords always sound good. Back into a power chord, then a diminished. Now you can put in there, if you want to, another diminished third, which is here, so diminished 5th, which is here. You can also use that shape as well, because that sounds quite dissonant, which is on the G and the B string. So if you play like a 5th, but on the G string, it's a diminished 5th. And then there's your 5th. Then we have major chords. So as I said earlier, if you use them sparingly, it helps to break up the dark sound and add a little bit of a lift, and then before we bring it back down. So don't be afraid to use major chords and think that people will say it's too happy. You know, you have to have something in there which is different. And one other chord which I haven't mentioned is a inverted fifth, which is one of my favourite chords, and I can't believe I forgot to put that in the riff. So here we would have a 5, and a 7. So 5 on the bottom string, 5 on the A, 7 of the D, which is a fifth chord, but it's inverted because you have the fifth on the bottom string instead of on the A string. So final recap on the best chords to use in black metal. Power chords, either 2 string power chords or 3 string power chords. Minor chords, inverted minor chords, diminished chords, inverted power chords, and to break up the sadness, some major triads or major chords. For this video I used the Victory V30 Countess set up like that, and the PRS Custom 24. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you give it a like, subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications, and I'll see you later.